There's a moment I hear about
Oh,
all the
wow.
time.
Salary
You finally get
increase.
the raise, or the
Congratulations.
new
That's
job,
amazing.
or the
Or
bonus you've been
finally.
waiting for. For a few days, maybe a few weeks, something inside you relaxes. You breathe a little easier. You tell yourself, okay, now I can calm down. And then, quietly, almost without warning,
Oh,
the
no.
stress comes back.
Whoa.
Not because
What is
something went
this?
wrong,
This can't
not
be
because you messed
real.
up, but because somehow, even with more money coming in, you still feel tight, still alert, still a little anxious
I don't
every time you
understand
open
where
your
this
bank
came
app.
from. Is it safe?
If that's ever happened to you, you're not broken, and you're definitely not bad with money. You're just experiencing something most people don't realize until years into their financial lives. Making more money doesn't automatically make you feel safe. And today, I want to talk about why. Because this isn't really a money problem, it's a psychological one. Most of us grow up believing that financial stress is a math issue, that once the numbers get bigger, the stress should shrink. More income should mean more peace, more room to breathe, less mental noise. But if that were true, then people earning six figures wouldn't lie awake at night worrying about money. High earners wouldn't feel trapped. They wouldn't feel one mistake away from disaster. Yet they do, all the time. The misunderstanding starts early. We're taught to think of money as a single lever. Pull it up, life
Not
improves.
enough.
Pull it down,
It's never enough.
life gets harder. But real financial stress doesn't respond to income alone. It responds to structure, to habits, to expectations, to how your life expands around your money. And no one really explains that part. So when someone feels anxious earning $40,000 a year, they assume the solution is 60. When they hit 60, they aim for 80, then 100, then more. Always believing relief is just one number away. But the finish line keeps moving. Not because you're greedy, but because stress doesn't live in your income.
Stress.
It lives in the gap between what you feel responsible for and what you feel prepared for.
Preparedness.
Let me explain. When your income rises, your life usually expands to meet it. Not in dramatic ways at first. It's subtle. You move to a slightly better place. You upgrade a few conveniences. You say yes more often. You commit to things that felt optional before. None of these decisions feel irresponsible. They feel earned, rational, even healthy. But each one quietly adds weight. More fixed expenses, more expectations, more people and systems depending on your income staying exactly where it is. So even though you're making more, the margin doesn't grow the way you expect. And margin is what creates calm. Without margin, higher income just means higher stakes. This is why someone earning twice as much can feel twice as stressed. They're not afraid of poverty anymore. They're afraid of falling. Afraid of losing the life they've built. Afraid of having to explain why things are suddenly different. That fear doesn't show up on a spreadsheet, but it's very real. There's also something else happening, and it's more internal. When your income goes up, your identity often changes with it. You start to see yourself as someone who should be doing well, someone who shouldn't struggle, someone who doesn't get to make mistakes anymore. So every unexpected expense feels heavier. Every misstep feels like proof that you're failing at a level you're supposed to have mastered. That pressure creates anxiety, even when the math technically works. And here's the part people don't like to talk about. More money doesn't fix unclear priorities. If you don't know what actually matters to you, higher income just gives you more ways to drift. More options, more noise, more decisions. And decision fatigue is stressful. When everything is technically
I
affordable,
feel like I'm
nothing
juggling my
feels
time,
anchored.
attention,
You can
and
see this in everyday life.
but none of them are full.
People who earn more often feel busier, not freer. Their calendars fill up. Their obligations multiply. Their time feels more expensive, yet more fragmented. They're not stressed because they don't have enough. They're stressed because everything costs something now. Time, energy, attention, reputation. Money becomes another thing to manage instead of a tool that supports the life they want. And then there's the emotional layer we almost never address. Many people grow up associating money with safety, or approval, or control. So when they finally earn more, they expect to feel emotionally secure. But money can't fix emotional patterns it didn't create. If you learned early on that security can disappear overnight, more income won't automatically make you trust stability. If you learned that success is fragile, you'll stay vigilant no matter how much you earn. Your nervous system doesn't care about your salary. It cares about predictability. This is why some people feel calmer earning modest incomes with strong routines and buffers than others earning far more with chaotic finances. Financial stress isn't about abundance. It's about resilience. About how many things have to go wrong before your life actually breaks. And for many people, higher income reduces that number instead of increasing it. Because expenses harden. Commitments lock in. Flexibility disappears. You're not just earning more, you're carrying more. This is usually the moment when people start to feel confused. They did what they were told. They worked harder. They advanced. And yet the promised relief never arrived. So they assume the answer is still more. Another raise. Another side hustle, another level. But there's a different turning point most people miss. It's the realization that peace doesn't come from growth alone. It comes from alignment. From designing a life where your money supports your nervous system instead of constantly activating it. That's a subtle shift, but it changes everything. Instead of asking, "How can I make more?" the question becomes, what actually reduces my stress?
Which is it gonna be?
Sometimes the answer is income, but often it's structure. It's knowing exactly what your money needs to do and what it doesn't. It's having space between your obligations and your earnings. It's building buffers that aren't just financial, but psychological. Emergency funds don't just pay bills, they buy calm. They reduce the mental tax of uncertainty. It's deciding that not every upgrade is worth the trade-off, that convenience has a cost, that simplicity is underrated. It's recognizing that stability feels boring, but boredom is often a sign of
Let
safety.
your values be your
This
guide
doesn't mean
in
living
every
small
decision.
or denying yourself. It means being intentional. When
Choose
your
the
spending
path of
reflects your
sustainability,
values instead of your
not the
stress,
unstable
money
quest for
stops feeling
maximum
like a
output.
constant threat. When your lifestyle is built around sustainability instead of maximum output, income fluctuations stop feeling catastrophic. When you define enough for yourself, comparison loses its grip. These changes don't happen overnight, and they don't require perfection. They start with noticing. Noticing that stress spikes when everything depends on your next paycheck. Noticing that your anxiety isn't about the numbers, but about the fragility of the system you're living
In a
in.
world of options,
Noticing that
choice
peace
is
comes
clear.
from knowing you could absorb a hit and keep going. From there, the practical steps become clearer. Creating a small buffer before chasing bigger goals. Slowing lifestyle expansion even when income rises. Building routines that reduce decision fatigue around money. Separating self-worth from net worth.
Still progress.
Giving yourself permission to prioritize calm over optimization. None of this is flashy. None of it makes for dramatic headlines. But it works. Because the goal isn't to eliminate stress entirely. That's not realistic. The goal is to make stress manageable, predictable,
You're doing better than
proportional.
you think.
To build a financial life where a bad month doesn't feel like a personal failure. Where money is
I
something
used
you
to be crushed by
use,
my workload,
not something that
but not
constantly
anymore.
watches you.
Now,
And if
I
you're
carry
sitting
my
there
stress
thinking,
lightly.
I thought making more would fix this. That makes sense. You were told it would. But the truth is quieter. More money gives you options. It doesn't tell you which ones bring peace. That part is still up to you. And the good news is, you don't need to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You don't need to earn double. You don't need to get everything right. You just need to stop expecting income alone to do emotional work it was never designed to do. Progress doesn't come from chasing relief. It comes from building stability, slowly and intentionally. And if you're already on that path, even imperfectly, you're doing better than you think. Not because you're stress-free, but because you're learning how to carry less of it.